It's time to put a spin on a new show. Welcome to The Storyteller, where stories are made up on the spot with chat room participation. We've gone interactive, folks. That's right. Anyone can change the direction of the story at any given moment in time, just by giving some stars, then dropping a word or phrase into the comment box. Each word or phrase from the star giver must be used in the very next sentence. Try making that make sense. The funds raised from stars helps to send foster care teens to college. Learn more at proofscholarship.org. That is proofscholarships.org. So, now that you know the rules of the game and why we're here to play, let's create some hysterical, haunting, enchanting, and out-of-this-world stories together. Brightest blessings from your host, the one and only Queen of Kindness herself, and author of over 12 books and changing the future of foster care, Miss Sabrina Oxford.
Awesome people, we are here live. I'm your host, Miss Sabrina Oxford. Still trying to figure out how to play the video at the beginning of the Facebook Live so I don't have to run back and forth from my computer to here. I am the Queen of Kindness, out there finding good people in the world, and one of the things that I do with the profits of my books is to help foster care kids go to college. So I decided to start a show tonight called The Storyteller, and we are going to be spinning into some new stories. So we're going to be testing my author abilities, my creative thinking, my are you on the feet quick enough to keep up with the audience. So you are in the audience, go ahead and start reading things in the chat. I'm going to explain the rules. It was explained just now as you listen, but I will explain the rules one more time. I want to go get something. Hang on. All right. So what we're going to do is first we have this, our little spin board. Yes, I know it's a cheesy little spin board, but that's okay. 1, 2, and 3 is going to tell us, are we going to start the story at the beginning? Are we going to start it in the middle? Or is this the sad or happy ending? So we'll find out. Now what happens if it lands on a free spot? I get to pick my choose. Alright, so in the beginning we will sit there, we will do the spinnings of 3 different areas. One, where we decide where in the story we are going to actually start. So let's check that out now. Where are we going to start? And it's in the middle. Let's try it again. And this time number 3. It's 3. So we are going to start this story at the end. So whatever story I'm making up is going to be the very ending of that story. Talk about being quick on your feet, because I don't even know what the beginning and the middle is yet. All right, so that is our first pick, is to decide, and we just now decided we are going to do part 3, the ending. Now, what we need to decide now is what type of stories is it going to be. So I'm going to have you put down whether it's a children's, sci-fi, horror, Christian, whatever story you want, put in the chat room. So it's interactive. You write in the chat room, and the first 3 that come up, that's what they will be. 1, 2, or 3. We'll spin the wheel. You don't have to pay for stars on this. This is all, these are free. Today we're not going to do any stars. All right, but in the future, after like maybe show 3 or 4, we understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and word gets out. Then in the 3rd section, the ending section of it, where you can change the story as I'm speaking and make me spin the spin wheel and go to a different section of the story, or change the if it's, sci-fi, and then all of a sudden now it's a children's story, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You can change the story, and then I have to change the demeanor of the story to make it fit. You can throw in a word, and please don't use octopus, because I'm not sure how I'm going to put that in there, but as an example, let's say you put in the word octopus, and I was talking about going into a building. I would have to somehow logically make that make sense in the very next sentence or two. If you give me a phrase, I have to use all the words in the phrase, but I do not have to use all of them in the exact order of your phrase. Another rule is no swearing. All right. Please don't make me swear. If you swear, that's fine. Go do that at home, but don't make me do it by throwing in a phrase. But please be creative, unique, funny, and let's have a really good time with that. So I'm going to grab some water and let some more people get into the chat room. Hello, 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 as you are coming into the chat room. I will explain it again for need be. I was trying to figure out how to do screen sharing. So if you can give me a moment. Nope, that's not it. I was hoping to be able to play the maybe it's under stickers. Oh. Nope, it'll just let me put it up there for a little bit. Can I shrink it? Can I move it? Can I take it down? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to take it down. Gary, hi Gary, thank you for coming in. I'm trying to figure out how to take down my little sticker here. I wanted it up, I wanted to move it. I thought I could move it. It won't let me move it, and it won't let me take it off. Oh wow, I did not foresee that coming. Will it let me take off the sticker? There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So, as I was explaining in the beginning, we have our little spin wheel and we spun, and we found out that we are going to be starting in part 3, the ending of the story. That is what I'll have to make up on the spot. And you can go ahead and put into the chat room your ideas of what type of story do you want it to be. And I'll write them on these little cards. Do you want it to be a sci-fi? Do you want it to be a horror? Do you want it to be a children's story? Pick some kind of story that you would like me to write and go ahead and put it in the chat room. I see Gary's in there watching. Gary, you can go ahead and put something in. We're not doing stars right now. We're doing our very first pilot show, Facebook Live with the Storyteller here. So don't worry about that. And even if we were doing stars, this is not a star part of the event. This is just deciding what genre of the story I'm going to have to make up. And I think if no one's going to put something in there, then I could just spin it and make it land on free. And then I could pick. Okay, so let's pick some areas. What do you got there, Gary? If you see something, put it in the chat room and I'll put it on the card. Let's say sci-fi. That's kind of that's typical. All right, so I'll just put sci. So number 3, if it lands on 3, we'll have sci-fi. And let's see. If it lands on 1, let's do a children's one. So if it lands on 3, we'll do a child story. And if it lands on 2, I was hoping Gary would throw a suggestion out there in the audience, or some of the other people that are listening in. But if you don't want to, then let me see. We have a sci-fi, we have a child, and what's something else? I don't really want to do horror because that's not exactly my forte. But let's write down a horror one. Let's put it down just no, that I don't want to do a horror one. What other genre do you want me to do besides sci-fi or child? Nobody's saying anything in the chat room. Let's just put down an action. Boom. All right, so number 2 is action. So we have a child story, an action story, or a sci-fi story. And let's go ahead and spin the wheel and find out what type of story I'll be creating tonight. And on the bottom half of it, the ending of... Oh, that's a free spot. I don't want to pick. Let's just let it pick itself. And the ending of 1, and 1 was a children's book. Okay, so the ending of a children's book. That's usually about the moral of a story. I should just pick up one of my children's books and give the ending to that. Oh, that'd be cheating though. Okay, so here's the fun part now. Now that we know that we're going to do the genre of a children's book and that I'm going to be starting at part 3, the ending of it, at any point in time, you can write a word into the chat room and I will have to use that word in the very next sentence or 2. So we'll see how creative I can be and keep up with all you people into the chat room. So as Gary's watching, if he has a word, he can throw one out. I'm trying to stop to think. Now, don't worry if I have pauses because my screen didn't freeze up. I do have to stop to think for a moment about what the story would be. And we need a subject. So on these 3 cards, let's put some subjects with my yellow chalk. So I have a white chalk marker and a yellow one. So, what subject do we want this kid's story to be about? We need chat room participation. So go ahead and drop some comments into the chat room as to what type of story you want this to be in. And I am getting a message. Sorry. Hold on one moment. We can try and work that out better next week. Okay, so let's give us some subjects. What subject do you want us to have? Nobody wrote anything in the chat room? We need audience participation, Gary. Do you got a suggestion in the chat room of what you would like this children's book story to be about? Let's say we could be about flowers. It's a children's story. Answer, this is wonderful participation by everybody in the chat room. I couldn't be more blessed right now. I guess I'm going to make one up while we are waiting for someone. I can make up one. How about toys? Alright, so if it runs on number 2, we will be talking about a children's book about toys. And number 3, we're not getting any help from Gary in the chat room, but he could at any given point in time decide to participate because it is an interactive show after all. Or if somebody else would like to join in. Now we are having some issues. Apparently Amber has not been able to find this on Facebook. So, okay, so while Amber figures out how to get on in here, let's see, toys and flowers and butterflies. That's a great suggestion. Butterflies. Okay, so number 3. All right, let's go to our spin wheel. It's time to spin. And it's free, so I get to pick anyways. Well, that's good because I had to write them all down myself. So I will do one on butterflies. Okay, so children's book on butterflies. That's what we have. And we're coming in on part 3, so the end of it. Alright, so now I need a moment to think. I should have some music for this time where I have a moment to think, but what I do have, well, I have several different versions of our intro start because I had a few friends of mine all decide to make one for me at the same time, which was both funny and hilarious for me at the same time. So I'm going to have to interchange them. So everybody gets a fair shot, I guess. Well, I shouldn't say several friends, I guess 3 friends. That could be several in today's world. But, okay, so we have that. And it's going to be, and the ending about butterflies. Okay. So, let's get down to the gritty of the butterflies. There we go. Okay. So Sam flew away off the tree for the first time after being dried by the sun. And as he flew up into the sky, he turned and he kind of waved to his little friend.
It's time to put a spin on a new show. Welcome to The Storyteller, where stories are made up on the spot with chat room participation. We've gone interactive, folks. That's right. Anyone can change the direction of the story at any given moment in time just by giving some stars, then dropping a word or phrase into the comment box. Each word or phrase from the star giver must be used in the very next sentence. Try making that make sense. The funds raised from stars helps to send foster care teens to college. Learn more at proofscholarship.org. That is proofscholarships.org. So, now that you know the rules of the game and why we're here to play, let's create some hysterical, haunting, enchanting, and out-of-this-world stories together. Brightest blessings from your host, the one and only Queen of Kindness herself, and author of over 12 books and changing the future of foster care, Miss Sabrina Oxford.